Welcome back, and thank you for clicking on the video. Today, I will be discussing the effects of predatory marketing and minimum wage's role on the obesity epidemic in the US. Obesity is a topic a lot of us can relate to. You might know someone who's obese, or even be obese yourself. I want to show how living on minimum wage and predatory marketing is making the obesity problem in the United States much worse. Obesity is commonly caused by unhealthy eating habits and poor life choices such as not being active and living a sedentary lifestyle. But is there more to this problem? Does all the blame fall onto the shoulders of the individual, or are multiple things such as predatory advertising, convenience, price difference in healthy foods, and even addiction might be the root of the problem? The rate of obesity has been consistently increasing since the first recordings. In 1962, 23% of all Americans were found to be overweight. 52 years later, in 2014, the CDC found that 36% of US adults were obese. From 2014 to 2018, the obesity rate grew 6%, making it 42% of the population. Will this problem continue to get worse, or can we fix it? The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development did a study back in 2013. They found that 57% of all Americans were overweight. The organization estimates that 3/4 of the American population will more than likely be overweight by 2020. So, what is causing all the massive increase in obesity? I feel that it's a factor of many things making this issue worse year by year. Take predatory advertising, for example. The food industry is extremely predatory with their advertising. They mainly focus on hooking the viewer at a young age. They do this by getting younger viewers excited with cartoon characters, toys, and bright colors. This builds brand loyalty at a young age, and this brand loyalty does follow them into their adult lives. This marketing has been found to contribute to childhood obesity. It's been discovered that the more a child watches these kind of TV ads, the likelihood for said child to be obese increases. So let's say that you have a child and you don't want them to be exposed to these kind of ads. So you don't let them watch TV, or at least turn it off when the ads are rolling. Well, that won't do you any good. These major food companies have already thought of that, and they will get their messages for these foods to your children by using the schools, of course. More than 10,000 schools have been found to be an advertising hotbed for unhealthy food. Advertisements for unhealthy foods are starting to appear on textbooks covers, gymnasiums, and even school buses. But that's not the only way these ads are being shown to young people. Major food companies are also using educational television to show these ads to students. A news show meant for schools and a younger audience by the name of Channel 1 would feature many of these kinds of ads. Channel 1 would air daily to 12,000 schools nationwide. Advertisers would pay up to $200,000 for the opportunity to target 40% of the nation's teens for just 30 seconds. That's a lot of children and teens being exposed to these unhealthy food ads. The schools were able to get away with this because it was all under the guise of educational television. These ads are predatory and can install bad eating habits for youths, making obesity more likely in their adult lives. Channel 1 aired its last program in 2018. But that doesn't mean another show won't be distributing ads in the future. There's obviously a market for it. Another thing I would like to point out is how literally addictive these foods are, and how big food corporations are purposely making their foods in this way. I believe we've all heard about Coca-Cola using cocaine in their drinks a long time ago. Well, that's nothing compared to how addictive some of the foods are today. Foods today are specifically designed to make you have strong cravings for them, so you'll buy more of their product. A lot of these foods rely on fats, oils, and sugar, especially sugar. Now I know what some of you are thinking. There is no way that sugar is more addictive than cocaine, and to that, I have some news for you. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine is. People who often try to cut the sweet stuff out of their lives have a hard time doing so. People who cut out sugar have been found to be literally suffering from withdrawal symptoms. And the food companies know this, and they love it. That's why these food companies are willing to pay millions yearly on food scientists, because the more addictive they make their food, the more in sales they will make. Now, what about just buying healthy foods and staying away from junk food? Well, buying healthy food is much more expensive and becomes next to impossible if you live on minimum wage. In 2010, the University of California conducted a study on the correlation between obesity and minimum wage. The study found that minimum wage employees are more likely to be obese due to the price difference in expensive health foods compared to cheaper junk foods, and living on minimum wage forces people to eat cheap and unhealthy food, especially for those who live in a major city where prices are even higher. This contributes to the obesity problem in the U.S. Federal minimum wage, which is at $7.25 per hour, is only adding to the problem. States can set their own minimum wage laws, but many states have not or will not do anything to increase the minimum wage. Many states' minimum wage laws are set at the federal amount. In fact, 21 out of 50 states pay their minimum wage employees $7.25 per hour. It has been found that people living in states where minimum wage is at federal level, like Alabama, are more likely to be obese than people who live in states with a higher minimum wage. In 2014, 3 politicians by the name of Tim Ryan, Jan Schakowsky, and Ted Strickland took part in the wage challenge. For 1 week, these politicians wouldn't be living on the huge amounts of money that they were accustomed to. Instead, they would be living on just $77. The point of the challenge was to show that living on minimum wage is close to impossible. And the cause for these politicians to fail their budget was food prices. In fact, food was one of the most difficult things to budget for. Just about everyone who took the challenge said that healthy eating was impossible. They couldn't afford the fresh fruits and vegetables that they were accustomed to. Ted Strickland had to resort to eating off the McDonald's dollar menu, proving that the less money you have, the worse you eat. Ted Strickland commented on how McDonald's employees need to be paid more. This proves that living on a tight budget is definitely a factor to consider when it comes to what people eat. For most people, being able to afford healthy food is quite difficult. So, what's the solution? Personally, I don't have the end-all solution for this problem, but I think raising federal minimum wage and regulating the amount of junk food advertisements these major food companies can put out could help the problem. What's your solution? Let me know in the comments. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed, consider hitting the subscribe button for more, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload. I'm in the comments section for an hour after uploading. I will be answering your questions and taking suggestions. This has been My Mind Marcus, speaking my mind.